Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Chalk Talk here on the DK Pittsburgh Sports Steelers YouTube channel. Chris Halicke returning from a long vacation, and, well, while that happened, the Steelers got Jalen Ramsey in a trade. Kind of a big deal, obviously, so we're going to dive into, well, I've already dove into quite a bit of the film, as much as I possibly could over the last couple of days. I was wrapping up my vacation, had a lot of fun, but still wanted to dive into as much of this as I possibly could, and overall impression is that this guy's still a really good football player. I mean, the Steelers are still getting a really, really good player, a guy who can play in man coverage. Forced incompletion percentage of last year, according to Pro Football Focus, was 11%. By the way, Joey Porter Jr., 10%. Kind of puts that into perspective for you. Guys like Stephon Gilmore, 10%. It's not, Marlon Humphrey for the Ravens, 12%, just to kind of put things into perspective for you when it comes to the type of player he is now. Not quite on par with what he was whenever he was with the Rams, but it was also a really bad Dolphins team last year. So here are some of the things that kind of stood out while I was going through this stuff. One thing that you're still going to see is some phenomenal plays in man coverage, but he also plays in a way, again, not having watched a lot of his stuff up close, there are going to be some times in which he takes risks, and that can be, well, it can hurt at the same time. So here's a good example of what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you the things he does well from it and the dangers that can also come from it as well. So here we got a one-on-one situation there to the outside. The receiver is running just a really quick slant here, and Josh Allen is going to literally just take one step and then fire this thing right at him. And Ramsey, again, the one thing you don't want to do is get beat to the outside. So corner, you don't know exactly what he's running, so you have to be able to react. I'd like to see here, instead of an immediate backpedal, is to jam him a bit. That's more Porter's game. Porter will go to jam. Ramsey kind of goes and he will read and react. And the one thing that can happen when you run these quick slants like this is that the receiver's going to put the foot in the ground and go while he's still in a backpedal position. And you can see Allen here. He's already starting his throwing motion right there pretty much. Ball separates there. And look at the separation that's created by the receiver because Ramsey is in this backpedal position. So this kind of stuff does concern me a bit because how often is he going to allow this slant to be open if he continues to play it like this, right? And here, you can even see by the time, he even gets into this very upright position right there. That's never a posture you ever want to see a cornerback in. The one thing Ramsey can still do, and you're going to see it even more in the next play, is that he can recover from this almost better than anybody else I've watched in recent memory. He goes from this situation to, by the time the ball gets there, now, granted, this is still wide A open when we're talking about separation, and this should be bare minimum a completion, probably getting inside the 5-yard line, if not a touchdown. And then it's not, spoiler alert. But the fact that he's able to even get to this point, to this point where if this is caught, he's probably making contact to make a tackle at about the 5-yard line. You will see so many corners that if they ever get in that posture right there on this particular play, it's a touchdown. There is no chance they recover. So the fact that he can go from this posture right here to turn and go, and it's really this step right here, this crossover he does with that step right there, where he's able to, back right foot hits and he crosses the left foot over like that. It's exceptional footwork from that. It's a little unorthodox, but the fact that he can swing his left leg over to recover, and because this is just gift wrapped, Ramsey can just pick it off, Also, good attention to ball skills. We know that Jalen Ramsey has ball skills. Don't need to dive into tape for that. This is one of his 2 interceptions. The other one in this season was just gift wrapped. It was a complete overthrow, thrown pretty much right at Ramsey. Think Neil O'Donnell throwing to Larry Brown in Super Bowl 30. Not quite that bad, but pretty similar. So next play here. One-on-one matchup is down here, and this is what I'm talking about when it comes to the ability to recover. Again, this first step from the receiver, there's separation. And again, this posture right here, like right there, that's never really what you want to see a cornerback in. But he's able to put the right foot back, pivot quickly, and then read and react. Now, this ball probably needs to come out a little faster. Probably, well, again, there's also a defender right here, so maybe not. Waiting for the receiver to clear. Probably still needs to come out a little faster. If that comes out a little faster, it stands a better chance. But Ramsey, again, you are able to get from this position right here, which is never what you really want to be in. This right leg being straight. You know, it's never a good, again, so many corners, if they ever get caught like this, they don't stand a chance of recovering. But Ramsey able to quickly get back. He's able to break the pass up. Phenomenal play by Ramsey here. So this is the kind of stuff he can do. He has the ability to recover from these type of situations where if it's like any other cornerback in the league or most other cornerbacks in the league, they don't stand a chance of recovering, but Ramsey can. And he's only 30 years old, going to be 31 during the season. So it's not like he's ancient. He's still got some years in him, right? And so there's no reason to believe. And this tape is all from last season. So this is most recent version of Jalen Ramsey. So I have no reason to believe that he can't continue to do this. There are going to be times in which this can hurt him. And it's going to be here. The one-on-one is right here. And all Harrison's doing, Marvin Harrison Jr., is pretty much, he's just running this, and he's running the deepest slant ever. Because he's pretty much, it's not even really a slant. This is just a straight to the back pylon of the on the opposite side of the field. And this time Ramsey's even kind of like sticking with him. But then as he continues to run, I mean, the receiver, this is just a really high cross, and Ramsey, because he gives so much ground to the inside at first, and I think he just believes the help is going to be there, it's not. It's not there. And then this safety right here gets completely caught up by this receiver here, which really opens this up. Ramsey has no chance of catching him. And no, I'm not saying that Ramsey has to be able to run with him no matter what, but when you give this little bit of ground, he's probably trusting his inside help. It ends up not being there, so this ends up looking worse. But again, this is, how it can be a little dangerous whenever you play like that. So, and this does end up being a pretty great catch for a touchdown. Great throw from Murray. But again, I think he expected more help to the inside based off of the way he was covering him. But it's still man cover. That's still your guy. You still need to be close to him, and you're not. So that's why this kind of sticks out to me. Ramsey up here, and this is DK Metcalf he's going up against, by the way, and so this is actually probably going to make some of you a little nervous when it comes to DK Metcalf blocking, but this is more of Ramsey just dissecting a play and making a play. Ramsey, when he's closer to the line of scrimmage, can do a lot of really good things, and this is what I'm talking about. Obviously, his main responsibility here is pressing against Metcalf, but they're running this kind of swing screen here. Lockett's running to this side, and Ramsey, he's keeping his eyes in this direction. He's watching that motion. This is just having a high football IQ, knowing what the Seahawks are, going to do. He's responsible there, but once he sees Metcalf get into this position, he knows Metcalf's probably not going to do anything. This is probably something. And he immediately gets his eyes, while he's engaging with Metcalf, gets his eyes back there. And then he's really able to react. Now, I'd probably like to see Metcalf be a little bit more assertive with this block. Get your hands on him. You know, you don't want to completely sell the screen too fast, but at the same time, I'd rather you just knock him on his butt. But that doesn't happen. Ramsey is able to get his eyes in the back. He engages first, therefore he's able to rip from the block, which is what he does, and he goes back and he makes a really good play to get a TFL. He's just a really smart football player, and he can do this kind of stuff. He can snuff out screens. This is just good stuff that he does. I would expect, with the way the Steelers play and not knowing exactly how they're going to be deploying Ramsey, and along with having Porter and Slay in the mix as well, I'm still going to think that Ramsey's going to play a good amount in the slot. And he's going to play a good amount closer to the line of scrimmage. This paves the opportunity for him to do more of this kind of stuff, to snuff out screens and to be active in run defense. And he's a good tackler, so that's another, good thing to have. Just to give you an idea of what this could look like out of the slot, Ramsey's right here in the slot. The Dolphins are running cover 4, and I really, really hope that with the Steelers having more corners that can run man coverage, that the Steelers will run more cover 4. I really, really hope this is the case. Because cover 4, as we've talked about on this channel, it is a zone coverage with man principles, right? So Dolphins are in cover 4 here. These are the 4 deep defenders. Ramsey is right here. He is responsible for the curl flat over here. You got your hook defender right here, and you have the other curl flat defender over here. Ramsey does a really good job here of reading and reacting, and that's what you really need out of the slot. You need a guy who can, especially if you're not playing man coverage, a guy who can come up here. And again, he does a really good job of even bluffing man coverage here. And of course he doesn't. And that's, you can see what the Dolphins are doing here. You got your 4 deep. You have your 3 underneath defenders right here. And Ramsey is in the perfect spot. He's, if he checks down to the running back, he can crash down, which is exactly what Allen does. And by the time this throw comes out, Ramsey's already making a break for the running back. He's doing a great job of reading, reacting. By the time the running back catches it and just starting to turn his head, Ramsey's right there, and he drives him back. There's no gain after that. No extra yards after that. Completely stops him. This is the kind of stuff you need from the slot. If you have a slot corner and you're going to be in a situation where Porter and Slay are the 2 primary outside corners on any given play, and they're responsible for taking away the number 1s, or if they're in this particular cover 4, which again, I hope the Steelers use more of. It's pretty much required in today's NFL to be able to. There's a reason why more and more defenses are using this. I'd like the Steelers use more of it. So if they can do this, it'd be great. And having Ramsey in the fold can help them do that. Good read and reaction stuff here from Ramsey. Just, again, the ability to recover in man coverage, the ability to read and react. It's a good combination for somebody who can play in the slot, and that's what the Steelers need. That's what I would expect. But we'll see. Also, if he's going to be playing more out of the slot, which I would expect, but there's still going to be plenty of times where Ramsey's going to line up outside. You don't have Jalen Ramsey and never have him play outside. Ramsey here, he can do quite a bit also as a blitzer. He did that with the Rams. The Dolphins didn't do as much of it, but you can see here what he's able to do. Really does a good job of kind of not really showing his tell until pretty much the ball is snapped. And he comes through, and it's just, again, the closing speed is phenomenal. He's right there. This is ruled on the field to be a fumble and then recovered. It was overruled and turned out to be incomplete. But either way, it's a great play by Ramsey. He can do a lot as a blitzer. I would expect the Steelers to use him as a blitzer quite a bit. when you talk about Slay and Ramsey and Porter and those three guys primarily being on the field the majority of the time, because the Steelers are in their nickel the majority of the time, Ramsey's going to be the one who blitzes the most out of those guys. And that's what I would expect. I would expect him to be that guy that plays closer to the line of scrimmage most often, that is responsible for things closer to the line of scrimmage most often of those three, and can, again, do a lot as a blitzer, can do a lot out of the slot. Don't know if he's just going to play. I'm still skeptical that he's going to play safety, like legit safety, a lot. I don't think that. I still think it's going to be primarily Deshaun Elliott and Juan Thornhill, unless the Steelers sign another safety. But to this point, I think this is pretty much going to be more of what he was doing with the Rams in 2021. And maybe we can take a look at some of that tape and see the way the Rams deployed him, and see if the Steelers want to try to do something similar. That is when Ramsey was playing the most out of the slot, so maybe it's worth looking at the tape. He's also going to be a few years younger in that tape, and I don't want you watching that thinking that, oh, well, he's going to be exactly like that guy. We don't know. But this is still a good football player, guys. It was a bad situation in Miami. They're a bad football team. They're still a bad football team. Feel sorry for Minka, but everything that I've seen, man, this has been he's still a good football player. Curious to see how it's going to be deployed, though. But on paper, they're better now. They're better now than they were. And if, as I've said, if you're going to have a weakness at either corner or safety, I'd much rather have it at safety. If you're set at corner, you got three guys who can all man cover, and you can afford to run more man coverage, and you can blitz more often, create more pressure on the quarterback, I think that's going to do wonders for this defense. So we'll see. Anyway, we'll be back. Tomorrow's a holiday. Happy July 4th, everybody. We'll be back on Monday. We'll pick back up with the Aaron Rodgers 2024 tape with the Jets. We're getting closer to finishing that. I think we got 7 games left. So that's what we'll pick up on Monday. Catch you guys then.